What's good, y'all? It's Ali back at it again with another YouTube video in which I give you guys mental models you can use to become extremely successful and accomplish all the goals you are after. So let's get right into it. So today I'm going to talk about burnout because a lot of you niggas are worried about burning out. Like, Ali, I don't want to burn out, but what about burnout? What if I work too hard? You're stupid as fuck. You actually want to work hard. You want to burn out. So let me define burnout in the context of you achieving your goals. Burnout just means pushing your limits. Because it's super funny to me because a lot of you guys will be like, oh, bro, I'm trying to push my limits. I'm trying to break through my limits. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be like Goku. I'm trying to unlock my ultra instinct. And then in the same breath, you'll be like, oh, but I don't want to fucking burn out. I'm like, nigga, what do you think burning out is? Burning out is pushing your limits. When you watch an anime, when you're watching any of these action movies, when a character is pushing past their limit, what the fuck happens after they push past their limit? What happens? They fall, they collapse. You know what I'm saying? They fall asleep, their legs, everything broken, they dying, they bleeding out. Because what did they just do? They push past their limits. They push past what their body and mind is currently used to. They push past their ceiling, right? And naturally you have to pay the price for that, which is you need to recover now. But what happens after they push past their limits and they collapse and they fall and they're like, oh shit, goddamn, that nigga was strong. I went super hard, that nigga's strong, right? What happens after they recover? They come back stronger, right? The narrator of the story or the anime always talks about how like, oh yeah, he's way stronger now, physically and mentally. Well, yeah, because he just pushed past his limits. So the thing is, if you say you want to push past your limits, then what you're saying is, I want to burn out. I want to burn out. I want to go to a place where I can't fucking move anymore. My mind is fried. My body is fried. Right? You want to reach that point because what happens after is that you gain more strength, both mentally and physically. Right? So the goal here is, hey, if you want to push your limits, you should be seeking burnout. You should want to burn out. You should want to regularly burn out. You should be seeking the burnout, you know, because as I just explained, that's what allows you to grow. This is what growth looks like. Growth is not supposed to be pretty. It's not supposed to be, how do I avoid burning out? No, it should look ugly. It should feel hard. You should feel very painful. That's how you know you're actually winning. So to get into like an actionable step of what I want this to look like for you guys, and I'll kind of explain it a little bit more here. So what you want to do is increase hours. What I mean by that is like hours per day, which you're working on your goals, plus no days off. Because that's how I want you guys to kind of conceptualize this here. So you want to increase your hours and give yourself no days off. Because this is what pushing your limits or working towards that burnout looks like. Because when you want to think about your highest output, you know, when it comes to your effort or work that you can do, you want to work as many hours per day with no days off. That's what's going to lead to your highest output in terms of what you're doing. But the thing is, you're actually going to use your goals or whatever you're trying to achieve right now as a vehicle to develop this, to push past your limits. Because essentially what this really just is just increasing your work ethic. That's really the main point here. I know I was mentioning physical development here, but you can only develop yourself physically if your mind is pushing you, because your mind controls your body, right? Not your body controls your mind, you know? So what you're going to do here is, okay, with whatever goals you're currently working on. Let's say you're an athlete, for example, right? And you want to increase your fitness. So, okay, we have you run 2 miles a day, every single day, right? So 2 miles a day, every single day, no days off. You do not stop. And you're like, Ali, but that's not very optimal though. That's not the point here. We're training your mind. We're training your mind to want to burn out. We're training your mind to want to push past your limits as much as possible. So don't think about physical optimization here. You think about your mind. We want to push your work ethic as much as possible. So let's just say, okay, 2 miles is currently what's real for you. Right now, you can only run 2 miles, right? That's what you're used to. That's what's regular for you. Because I don't want to say tomorrow run 6 miles because that might not be real for you. So 2 miles you run, right? And then you do this every single day. You just keep running 2 miles, 2 miles, 2 miles. And let's say a week passes. You run 2 miles every single day. And you feel fine. You're like, okay, that actually wasn't that bad. You know, what you will then do now is, I know I said hours here, but what you'll increase is in terms of level. Okay, 2 miles wasn't that bad. Let me go to 3 miles now, right? And you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. And then a week passes, man, I guess that wasn't that bad. Then you go to 4 miles, right? And it's like, okay, you keep going again. It's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And I know most of you niggas are not going to make it that far when it comes to like running these miles. But the point is, here, you're going to get to a point where like your body is destroyed. You know, your legs are like horrible. They need recovery. They're aching, whatever. This is good. This is very, very good. Because what happens? Now that your legs basically can't move, you're in pain, you feel like you're about to get fucking injured. That's how bad this is. I want you guys to reach that point. Now, when you recover, you know, you take a few days, you recover. When you come back, you're like, I never thought I'd be able to work that hard. Now that's a new standard of effort that I have. And that's the whole point that I'm trying to make here. When you push your limits, what happens is you create new limits. You create a higher standard of work ethic that you have attained. Because a lot of you guys don't understand that there's way higher levels of effort that you currently have not unlocked because you're afraid of this. You're afraid to burn out. You don't want to hit that burnout. That's bad. Like, nigga, what's going to happen to you when you burn out? It's not like you're going to die, right? What happened? Like, even playing it out in your mind, when you say, I don't want to burn out, what does that look like? You get really tired, you get in a lot of physical pain. Okay. You rest and then you recover and then you just go at it again. And now you're actually stronger this time. This is just like resting and recovering. You know, of course, eventually you're going to need a rest. Don't get it twisted here. But the thing is, the amount of work that you can get out of yourself before you need to rest can continuously increase. And that's the whole point of me saying, increase the hours plus no days off. You want to increase how much effort you can put in without ever having to take a day off. Do you understand me? That's the whole point that I'm trying to make here for you niggas. You want to continuously push how hard you can go every single day without ever having to rest. And the only way you do that is to push yourself as hard as possible every single day without ever resting. And this is what increases your ceiling, guys. And I'm telling you, I get so excited talking about this shit because this is how you attain an insane work ethic. This is what it is. You know, you increase the hours. And I use the athlete example. Let's say you're trying to become a lawyer or you're going to med school trying to become a doctor. Okay, you can use this with studying too. You know, for your medical exams, for your law exams, you can use this for studying too. Right now, you might only be able to study for 2-3 hours a day. And you get tired or you take rest days. Well, let's push that. You know, right now you can only do 2-3 hours. Okay, let's push to 4. Do 4 hours every single day. No days off. Do not rest. Keep going, keep going, keep going until your brain does not fucking work anymore. You know what I'm saying? When you're signaling to your brain to look left and instead you look right, you're fucking confused. You become a retard for how hard you are studying right now. Understand? And when you do this and then you finally just rest one day, when you finally get one day of sleep, what happens is your ceiling for effort is way higher now. Now you're like, oh yeah, studying for 4 hours a day every single day? That's not even that bad because you've gotten used to it. Guys, as human beings, as men, y'all, we're adaptation machines. We can overcome anything. We can attain anything with our will, with our desire. It's ridiculous, bro. I'm telling you. So this is how I kind of want it to look like for you guys. You just have to extrapolate this to whatever goals that you're working towards, whatever success you're working towards, with whatever activities you need to do to work towards those goals. Just think, okay, how can I increase the hours? Or I'll just say reps, you know? How can I increase the hours or reps per day that I do this thing with no days off at all, without ever resting at all, right? Until the point that you're in physical pain. I want you guys to think physical pain. I'm not talking about some, oh, I don't feel like working on my goals today. Not that gay bullshit. I'm talking about you physically cannot do the work. Physically, it's impossible. That's what I want this to feel like. That's what I mean when I say no days off, right? And then obviously you'll get to the point where you rest and then boom, your ceiling for work ethic increases to a crazy degree, right? And kind of the last thing I'll say here to wrap things up, because I think this will be a very great way for you guys to understand this. A lot of you guys watching this probably know David Goggins, right? Super famous guy, insane runner, insane mentality. And a lot of guys who are critical of David Goggins, they'll always say, oh, David Goggins, he's not optimal. The way he trains isn't optimal. Yada, yada, yada. His body is not optimal. The way he be running so long. I'm like, you niggas are fucking dumb. You niggas are retarded because you think that's what he's training for. You think that he's training for optimization physically, when what he's really training for is doing this. He wants to train his mind, guys. This is about work ethic. When I'm saying this here, I don't care if you're sitting here trying to say, oh, well, this doesn't look optimal. Nigga, not the point. The point here is I want you guys to increase your work ethic. The reason why David Goggins trains the way that he trains is for his mind. It's about his mentality. He wants to break through all limits that he puts on himself. A lot of you niggas put limits on yourself because you're looking for optimization, which makes you fucking lazy, which lowers your threshold for how hard you could actually possibly work. And I'll tell you one thing right now. If you can increase your work ethic to an insane degree, there's nothing you can't achieve. Because a lot of you niggas are not successful, not because you're not capable, but because your work ethic is trash. You're just fucking lazy. You're capable, but you're lazy as hell. How do you not be lazy? You got to push your limits. Because when you push your limits, your work ethic increases. What your awareness of what it looks like to work very hard continues to increase. And that's what separates all men. You know, another big thing that I always say is that all men are separated based off mentality, not reality. That's what separates you. And if you want to increase your mentality, you got to do this. When you look at David Goggins, he trains so fucking hard, even though it's not optimal. A lot of guys will say it's not optimal because he's trying to train his mind. He wants to see how hard he can work. And it's funny because when guys go to David Goggins for advice or talk to him, right? What they're looking for, they're not going to him. You don't see a bunch of fitness guys going to him like, hey, what's the most optimal lifting, David Goggins? How do I lift optimally? You don't look at marathon athletes going to David Goggins and be like, oh, how do I run better? How do I run for longer? What's the most optimal running style? You know what they go to him for? They're like, how'd you get your mind that way? Where'd you develop this insane superhuman mentality? Because the mentality allows you to do with everything. The mind comes before the body. I know I'm ranting a little bit here, but I really want you guys to understand this shit here. Because this is what separates you from being a loser and a winner. You know what I'm saying? From a dyer to a killer. This is what separates you. When you realize this, it's like, no, I want my mind to become insane. Because the mind becomes before the body. And my mind can force my body to do whatever it needs to do. So yeah, so that's how I look at David Goggins. It's his mind. And he trained his mind by doing this. He'd increase the number of hours he trained per day and the number of reps, and he would never let himself rest. He'd just keep doing it. He'd want to see what are the limits of the body. That's the point. That's what you want to see. Because the level of effort that he has access to now from training this way for so long is insane. It's superhuman. And you can get that way too if you're willing to train. This is what it looks like. This is what it takes. So yeah, man, let me know how you guys felt about this shit. Like, this is just so ridiculously important. To me, I've said this for a lot of other videos, but this is one of the most important videos I made. Because this can turn you into a winner. This simple shit. Going as hard as you possibly can every single day, not giving yourself a chance to rest. This will force you to consistently push your limits, and you will increase that. You can actually work way, 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 way harder. Way harder than you think you can. Insanely. To an insane degree. And that's what will allow you to be a winner. This is like, you can reach a work ethic level that makes everything seem easy when it comes to becoming successful and achievement. So, if you fucked with this shit, if you're like, yeah, Ali, this is some fucking heat. I'm going to go fucking burn out now. Then like the damn video, because there's other guys out there that would understand this as well and also want to go fucking burn out. You know what I'm saying? I want more guys in the fam. You know, I want to give you guys more shit like this. I need more guys to see this shit. I need to build an army because I can make all you niggas code. You know what I'm saying? Make you represent masculinity and manhood in an insane light. And of course, to subscribe, my nigga, because I'm dropping shit like this every single fucking day, dropping insane heat like this every single fucking day that will turn you guys into absolute fucking demons. You know what I'm saying? So like and subscribe. More guys get to see this. You get more vids like this. And with that being said, I'll catch you boys in the next YouTube video. Deuces.